Welcome to Real Money Talks. Real strategies from the moneymakers and the world changers that you can use to make millions, keep those millions, multiply your wealth, and build your team. Here's your host, author of 5 New York Times bestsellers, money expert on Dr. Phil, CNN, CNBC, The Street TV, Fox News, and The View, Loral Langemeier.
10 steps to becoming a millionaire in 5 years. Now I'm going to go for a little minute, and then these guys were going to feed me some questions, and I want to hear from you. So by the way, if you have, just a second. If you don't have this book, go grab it. If you don't have it, go get it on Amazon or my store. Actually, go to my store. I'll actually autograph and send one out to you. But I have a better deal later on, so just hang tight. Those of you who have it, though, I'm going to refer to it a lot because this is the gem of the enterprise on the Millionaire Maker. All right, so let's talk about it. 10 steps to becoming a millionaire in 5 years. Right? I'm going to put them in a little different order now that we're a few years past the book and when it was published. So, number 1, get a pen and paper. You got to change your pattern. So in our money world, the way that we're taught, right? And a lot of you that have been listening and you've been on my channel for a while, this is I shouldn't say it's repetitive. It's in a different order that you've ever probably heard me speak, because there's 7 families in the Millionaire Maker, and there's 7 patterns that happen to these folks. So for you to figure out your pattern, we took 4 of them. Go to integratedwealthsystems.com and take my financial personality quiz, see where you are. Better than that, read the Millionaire Maker book so you have all 7 patterns, and let's start looking there first. So first of all, I don't care who you are, there's some pattern about money that has to change. So, we're taught to go to school, get good grades, go to college, get a job, get a 401k, blah, 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 blah. Now that's changing. The pandemic actually has changed that pattern, but I don't know that it's a great pattern. Staying on unemployment and not working is kind of an interesting strategy to try to be rich. I just think people have a lifestyle goal instead of a money goal, and they're making an excuse. So here's what I'm going to say to you, because I have a huge lifestyle. Like, I built assets, then I built a lifestyle. So there's my pattern. And I would encourage you to do the same, because then you'll have sustainable wealth whenever you want. And we're going to talk a lot about that. Wealth and income are different. So we have a lot to talk about. The pattern that is the biggest problem is we're taught how to make, spend, make, spend, make, spend. And then you get wrapped up in what I call a lifestyle cycle of worrying about how much you owe. And then the world followed suit, right? All media, all marketing outlets, and all the marketing in the world is suited to your really bad money behavior. Oh my God, I'm in debt. And then you have yappy wrong people over here saying, oh, but you shouldn't be in debt. Are you kidding? Debt's one of the greatest assets and tools you can use to create wealth, not lifestyle debt, good debt. So we've got to break this pattern of make, spend, and being worried about, oh my gosh, how much do I owe somebody? Versus if you took half of the time that you worry about liabilities and your expenses, and you took just a portion of that time, can I have that water? If you took just a portion of that time, one moment, please. Have a little glitch in my throat. Here you go. Thank you. And you applied it towards making money instead of worrying about debt and how much you owe and what does it cost per month. Like, that's not a psychology of the wealth, right? Wealthy people act, think, and behave differently. So our pattern, right? So write this down, right? Your pattern is probably make, spend, and worry about debt. What I need you to do is make, invest. And even if it's a small amount, that behavior of make, invest is going to change your life with money. And every dollar that you make, I don't care how young you are, you put some money away, right? Some people call that saving. I call it investing because I want it to be invested for compounding power. Savings is usually like a CD or a little, few trinkets in the market for interest. You're not getting enough. That's why I want to change your language as we're in this conversation. And this is not my first YouTube Live. We're going to start doing these on a regular basis. And the topics will be different than I talk about. Usually they'll supplement my YouTube channel. But I want you making comments and talking and asking questions. So number 1, change your pattern from a lifestyle cycle of make, spend to a wealth cycle of make, invest. Right? You got that? From a lifestyle cycle of make, spend, and worry about debt to a wealth cycle of make, invest, right? That's assets to income to assets, and then you compound the power. So that's number one. Number two, I go into page 17 of the Millionaire Maker book, chapter 2, and you do a gap analysis. So a gap analysis is knowing where you are, which is your baseline, and knowing where you want to be, which is what we call your financial freedom day. By the way, those are steps 3 and 4. I'll talk about those in a moment. They're critical to know that gap. See, a lot of people say, well, Loral, you have to motivate me, or your channel motivates me, or, when I used to be live on stages, so motivating. Well, no, motivation comes from inside, and it's usually, I don't care what it is. It could be a health goal. Where you are, your baseline, and where you want to be, there's a gap. Let's just talk about your business, maybe in marketing, right? Your baseline, what you want to be, there's a gap. So when your gap is irritating enough to you, unacceptable enough to you, you want to move from where you are to a new place. That's motivation. That's internally driven. So this is up to you, right? I'm just going to be your coach, your guide, your advocate, and be out here telling you, how you can navigate. You're going to make the choices. I can't give advice. That's not what I do. I'm an educator, an advocate, facilitator of your knowledge with money. So figure out your gap. And in our gap analysis, I want you to notice that we only look at your income and your assets. Why? Because you're already in a pattern of worrying about your debt, your expenses, your liabilities. What do you owe other people? When you start getting wealthy, and I'm going to use the EIDL, that was hugely beneficial during the pandemic. And if you didn't go get it, I have clients that have got millions of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars, and are using it as a good debt strategy to really grow their company. So let's just say you got $1 million. Oh my gosh, you owe the government $1 million. So some of you who are so freaked out and wrongly educated about debt, you're thinking you owe $1 million. Well, you put $1 million towards a project that could make you 10 million, 20 million. That's good debt. And yeah, it's called leverage. So we have to untangle and unpack your thinking about debt, that it's a bad thing and that credit cards are bad. They're actually extremely useful, done right and responsibly. So your gap analysis is critical. I need to know your motivation. I have a huge team waiting. In fact, Steve's with me here. He will put in our office number. You can call them at any time and say, I need a gap analysis. And we'll give you the download, and you can actually write it out. Where are you? What do you want? And then I want you to take your first shot at it. Right? I give you enough information through my quiz and other content, my YouTube channel, that I want you to take your first shot. What do you think you should do first? Right? Because then it tells me how you're thinking. See, if I just download to you what my opinion is and how I would navigate if I had your situation, then, well, number one, I'm not going to give you advice, but then I don't know where your gap is in your thinking. Because you could say, well, I need to do this and I need to do this. And I can tell you the number 1 and 2 mistakes in becoming a millionaire is you've met me and you did nothing about it because you have this excuse called I'm not ready. Like that is totally illegal, that you are always ready for whatever's right in front of you. And then the other one is I'll get to you once I fix things. Well, you don't know how to fix them. So then you're going to fix them in your same odd way. And now I got a bigger mess to deal with. So do not come to us and say, oh, I've been watching you for so many years. I just had somebody tell one of my folks that work on our team that they knew me for 20 years. And the reason you're not a millionaire yet and you haven't begun, because you're either not ready or you're trying to fix something. I got to get divorced. I got to go through a bankruptcy. I've got to do my thing. No, you don't. You don't know how to do any of those things financially and responsibly. And I'm not being rude about it. I just have a lot of experience on how to navigate and take you through. I've been through a divorce. It was fascinating. There's not a financial situation in your backstory of how you got where you are that had you arrive in this gap. Single parent, 2 kids. I had a minute where I had, another parent. And, but financially I've done all of this as a single parent, traveled 6 continents with those kids and wrote this book, right, with Kyle. He has a great story. I have a great story. The book is about our story, mine, which is single mom, 2 kids traveling the world, his 25-year Air Force fighter pilot, phenomenal career, and how he did it. And we're very different. Somewhere in between, pick a path and make a plan to become a millionaire and get your kids involved. So, number 1, you got to change your pattern from a lifestyle cycle to a wealth cycle. Number 2, you got to get your gap analysis organized and know where it is. So once you know where it is going forward, you use bookkeepers and like Quicken or QuickBooks to actually orchestrate and keep your gap in front of you. What do you need? Where are you and what do you want? And you do the same sort of thing in a gap analysis if you want to change your health. Where are you? What do you want? You got to start getting motivated to move a direction that is not serving you to stay where you are. Number 3, let's talk about that baseline. So your baseline is getting organized. Now, there's a lot of traditional financial folks, and I won't name their name out here, but you know who they are. They're going to say, get organized first. Are you kidding? Like, you know how boring it is to get organized? Oh, I'm going to go sort out my bank statements and my credit card statements and do all that. You're going to hire somebody to do that, right? So what we need, what an accountant needs to kind of organize where you are is where are you, right? Today, and what have you done? Like, so this would be your bank statements, your credit card statements. One thing, just while I'm talking about credit cards, I do want you to unpack a little bit is your credit card statements. So if you've been commingling because you've been a sole proprietor and didn't get organized properly, you want to go through those statements and say, in your best guess, what do you think could have been a business deduction and what's a personal expense? Now, once we get you truly living inside corporate life because you have a company and your company makes money and you have a legal right for 81,000 pages of deductions, including your dog as a security dog or guns, and those are my 2 favorite new ones. But obviously your vehicle, your home office, your computer, your phone, all these things. So if you've been paying those bills personally, we've got to sort that out, uncollapse it, and get it paid by the right company. Otherwise, you are commingling and you got big issues. So your baseline is about uncovering really what you've done. And some of you have just even successful folks. Like I'm thinking of a client who's, a year and a half into a huge real estate project. Unfortunately, didn't have a bookkeeper, and the records are there, but it is like really, really messy would be an understatement. So getting your baseline organized is what's your income, personal and company. What are your expenses, personal and company? And some of you might have 2 or 3 companies. You might have your core operating company because you do something, you're a coach, you're an author, you're a real estate agent, you're a real estate broker, you're a real estate investor, you're a chiropractor, whatever you are. Like, so you have, and then like maybe you're a chiropractor and you have real estate. So you should have 2 companies. So again, I want you to really get organized around your income, personal and companies. And then you want to do your best to get organized around expenses, personal and business. Do your best guess, and then when we start really working with you, our teams can help you sort that out. You do the same in the asset column and the liability column. What do you own and what do you owe? So your baseline is get organized. You don't have to do it. In fact, I don't want you to do it because I want you out at our marketplace making money, and you have the money to hire people to get you organized. Getting organized and doing paperwork is really boring unless there's probably a couple % of you. If we were in a live audience, I said, raise your hand if you love doing paperwork, and I'd have people flee to you to hire you to organize them. But most of you don't like to do it. So I actually used to sell these t-shirts that says, do paperwork or be poor, because you do have to stay organized in your gap analysis. Now, before we go on to number 4, which is your Financial Freedom Day, I think there's some questions. Can you guys read them out? There we go. What is it that I do different than other people do the same thing? So just this whole process of sequencing is what I do different. So I help sequence you in a way that you know what to do first, second, third, and fourth. Like a traditional financial person is going to say, get organized, go buy some stocks and bonds and mutual funds. And like, that's not going to be how it goes. Depending on what you've done to yourself, you're all meeting me at a different place. Some of you are successful business owners. Some of you have generational wealth already planned, and you've got some problems in that. I just got a new client who came to me and they said, yeah, we're going to do generational wealth. And look, we have this great will put together. I'm like, that's not enough. You need a trust, right? And eventually, depending on the kind of wealth and the size of wealth that can pass through in 2020 is over $12 million per beneficiary. So that is all estate tax free. So there's a lot that we need to put a team around you to help you make the right decision. So my job is the facilitator and navigator of your experience, and I will, introduce you to those different people. You can bring your team to this team, but they need to talk. See, what's rare and odd about this financial space, really odd, is financial professionals, because they're licensed, are very limited to their conversation, and they don't talk to each other. So a financial planner might not necessarily talk to the insurance agent, won't talk to like a real estate investor, may never even have a conversation with your tax or CPA strategist, may never talk to your actually operational, cash flow team. Like, Why aren't they all talking? If you were in traditional medicine and you were in a surgery room, your anesthesiologist would talk to the nurse and doctor. Like there's more of a natural team effect in the medical world. Why isn't that in the wealth world? Which is why I am so passionate about this, because I want to help you glue this together. All these pieces in the financial space are separated. It's like a little Rubik's Cube that fell on the floor. And why I exist is not to give you advice, is to educate you. Well, how do you correct your credit? How do you get corporate credit? How do you do this? There's all these things, and then together you build this amazing plan and a put together Rubik's Cube. It makes sense. So again, change your pattern from a lifestyle cycle to a wealth cycle. Number 2, do a gap analysis, page 17 of the Millionaire Maker. Number 3, get your baseline organized, hire someone to do it if you are like me and don't want to do it. Number 4, your Freedom Day. So Freedom Day is synonymous to what you would call retirement. And I know the word retirement is very, very widely used and everybody knows what that means. Here's my problem with retirement. If you look it up, it's an agriculture word that means to put cattle to pasture to die. We're not cows, we're not dying. Worse than that, I'm gonna say worse than that, is it's a goal for older age. And I got clients coming to me, like I have several new crypto millionaires in their 19, 20, 21. I've got real estate millionaires. I have some student athletes that are going for NIL, right? They're going to be making millions of dollars. Like, you don't have to be old to be done. And so I call it Freedom Day. Freedom Day is the day, and again, in the book, Freedom Day is going to be around in the chapter 17, which is moving into sequencing, which is page 37, where you're going to have, there's a definition where you have enough money coming from your assets, real passive income, cash flow from real estate, cash flow from gas and oil wells, cash flow from stock or trading markets, like any of those things. Like it's true cash flow that's coming, and it actually handles your monthly nut. So, one second. You guys are distracting. Yeah. Sorry, I'm talking to my team here. So when you have enough cash flow to handle your monthly nut, and then the business or the thing you do is the gravy on top, just to have more, honestly, I just buy more assets with it. Say, so many people say, like, I don't understand, like, why do you manage cash flow so deeply? Because the extra goes to assets. And without extra, what's the point? So it's critical that you have enough cash flow, not only to manage your life, but then you're investing so you have the passive income. So Freedom Days, how much is your number? Is it 10,000 a month? Is it 20,000 a month? 50,000 a month? What is it? So once from your gap analysis, you're going to really get clear on your baseline, your Freedom Day. Number 5, which is absolutely essential, is forecasting. So forecasting is how you spend your money. Right now, we're in a very inflationary period right now. So I have lots of solutions. In fact, our team, if they're out there on the side, can put it in our beat inflation link. We have a cool beat inflation, and it's how you can cap your spending so you don't get these inflationary prices in a lot of your products. And it's critical. Like, why would you buy inflationary rates when you don't have to? That's just an odd choice that you continue to do to support the big box stores who's had all the support since the pandemic. And it's killing small and medium-sized businesses. So forecasting is learning to spend. The bigger version of forecasting, which isn't written probably in the Millionaire Maker, now that I've been doing this for so many years, as clearly as what we do now, is once we get your baseline from you, is really helping you understand and learn where should your bills be paid. Personally, your entity, a different entity, which company pays what bill, which company is going to take your cell phone, which company is going to take the computer, which company is going to take the car, the home office deduction. So there's a spending to forecast of how you do it that is just essential. It's essential, and no one teaches how to spend money the way that we're teaching you how to spend money. I know that's the truth. And it's down to not just how to pay your bills, it's which company takes the deduction for your bills because you have a larger tax strategy in the plan of your life. And that's actually designed by our corporate teams, our compliance teams, our CPA teams. All right, now let's get to the fun stuff. You have got to make some money, right? So as you make money, and the reason I put forecasting a little before cash flow and cash machine in your sequence is because if you keep spending improperly, why make money and put it on a mess, right? So we're going to get some plan. It won't be all done, but at least your forecasting and how you're spending your money gets done properly. Now let's get to your cash flow, and which is number 5 and 6, which is your cash machine. Actually, I'm sorry, 6 and 7, your cash machine. Your business. And the only reason, I have to say this to start, the only reason why small businesses fail, only reason, is because you don't have enough team and systems. And so what we have done now over 20 years, 2 decades, again, what do I do different than other people? We've actually created the teams that you can use. We do done-for-you marketing. We'll do your marketing, help you generate a lead. We're going to tell you what database to use. Why? Because I need your data, right? I need to know, is it a marketing problem or sales problem? A coaching call that sounds like, oh, nothing's working. No, we have to dissect it a little. What's not working? Is it your marketing, and then which channel or which initiative is not working? Is it your sales, which is then generating your cash flow? Like, cash flow is critical. So you need to start really monitoring how much money do you need as you grow your company. And I love those growth clients. I have so many authors. They're launching new books. I've met them. They're writing their book. I'm saying, and you don't have a pre-order page? Are you kidding? So what do? We took my Make Your Kids Millionaires pre-order page, and now we will deliver it to you, because you're going to need this, and you should be pre-ordering anything. It's not just a book. You should be pre-selling anything that you want to sell to serve another person. Why? It generates cash flow. It also generates your momentum for that motivation to fill the gap, because you're going to have to fulfill. You don't get to back out and say, oh, I'll do it later. Like, you don't get to. You have to do it now. Like, even if you're like, I'll go a totally different direction than authors and books and databases. Let's just say you want to go rehab a house and you want to go borrow some hard money, right? So how do you borrow hard money? Like, that's all my Wealth Cycle book is, how do you do some of that? How do you become a hard money lender or go get that kind of money? By the way, IRA money is everywhere and not invested well. So let's just say you want to rehab a house and you need, like most of the time, people go like really decline in their cash flow, prior to being able to actually come out on the other side. So there's 0% financing, there's funding, there's all sorts of other things. There's also education that you can provide along the way in rehabbing a house. So why aren't you talking about the 10 things that are absolutely necessary to rehab a house? Sell that report for $10. What are you doing? You're building a database of other potential hard money lenders later along the way. Database building and marketing is critical no matter which game you are playing and which way you are at it. Your cash machine is critical. I love helping you become your first 6-figure business owner. And by the way, that's the hardest money you'll ever make, because you're going from being an employee to being an entrepreneur. And the walk from an employee to entrepreneur is a long walk. And it actually doesn't translate well. So number one, you're used to being overtaxed to pieces as an employee. And by the way, because I'm also going to speak to, we have a new company called the NIL Solutions. So it's nilsolutions.com. where we're helping those guys with NIL. Like, if they put that that NIL money, I don't care who it came from, a car dealership, a local sponsor, a clothing sponsor, Viper glasses, I don't care where it comes from, and they put it in the personal bank account, it's going straight into that huge 30, 40, 50% tax. Wrong answer. That needs to go into a company. So let's talk about the next step. As you're planning what you're going to do to make money in your cash machine and how you're going to plan the cash flow and what do you need, because you know you're forecasting now, you know what you need personally, you know what your companies are going to need. So we need to generate money. Like, that's immediate. So at the end of our broadcast, if you've not been to our Millionaire Intensive and Marketplace, we do it every 3 weeks. Come make money every 3 weeks. And if you've been, come back. Why not? I put people in front of you. It's like getting free leads. Come sell them something. And if you still can't figure out how to sell, it's not us. It's because you won't shift. So notice the things you're holding on to that are not working, and how thousands and I'm going to say tens of thousands of people have made money in that marketplace and in an ask, tell, ask environment. All right, so let's do a little recap, because we are far down, and then I'm going to answer some questions. If you are enjoying our first live stream, I need you to hit the like button. Like, and honestly share, get your buddies on here. Like, if you're negotiating with people around an opinion about what I'm talking about, have them come negotiate with me. They're not going to negotiate with you. Have them come here and let's have a chat. And if there's something you want me to talk about in addition, let me know, put it in the chat, and the guys will give me some more information. So let's do a recap. Number one, change your pattern, lifestyle cycle to wealth cycle. Number two, gap analysis, page 17. And you can go up to the sequencing blocks, which is putting it all in the right order, which is page 37. In that, you're also going to then really identify your baseline, your freedom day. What are you going for? How much a month? By the way, once you hit your freedom day, it's going to get bigger. I don't know how many of my students and clients say, I started with 5,000 a month as a goal, and then I went to 10, and now I'm at 20, and now I'm at 30. And it's not about having enough and much. A lot of them, they'll give huge charity donations, right? If you don't have any money, do not say you're philanthropic. You don't have any money to give away. This is cute, interesting. And by the way, you never start becoming a millionaire with a nonprofit. That comes later. Right? That's a later move, not a now move, right? So you got number 1, number 2, 3's baseline, 4 Freedom Day, 5 forecasting, cash flow and cash machine, and 8 big, like the most critical. I'd put it at the top. And you say, why is it number 8? Because we have to sort you all out. We've got to organize your gap analysis. We need to know where you are, teach you how to spend. Now we're going to talk about getting incorporated. You have to live corporate life. It is not negotiable. Companies make money, individuals get taxed. So you can continue to be overtaxed and overtaxed and overtaxed. And I want to speak to a few people straight out there. I'm going to name her name, and I hope she watches this video. Her name's Lisa. I'm going to talk to the Cole family. I'm going to talk to Fred. I'm going to talk to, who else am I? Matthew. I'm going to talk to Daniel. So you guys are sitting on the shelf going, should I work with Loral and her team? Let us do a 3-year tax return review. If you coaches, because I've been talking to a lot of coaches and athletic directors, if you're out there going, should I work with her team? Are you kidding? Let us do a 3-year tax return review. Let's begin there, right? Northern California, coach and teacher, $72,000 back in 3-year taxes, which means essentially overpaid nearly over $20,000 a year because the person doing their taxes didn't understand 81,000 pages of tax code. So we want you to put your money in the right foundation, the right bank accounts, because they're corporately structured differently. You get a different tax deduction strategy around it. It's fabulous. And you're never going to go on a vacation again. You're going to go on business trips. And I'm in a wine business. I'm in real estate. I'm in so many different businesses. I can go anywhere in the world. Well, first of all, I can just do a quick YouTube and, you can just come. I got it. So you can, sorry guys. Okay, I got to do it in the flow. I'll answer my questions. Okay, so all of you, you got to have a corporate life. And this is a worldwide thing. So I know I'm speaking in U.S. vernacular. So there's a question is, do I accept overseas clients? Yes. We have been in 6 of the 7 continents. The only clients I've never accepted because I don't know, there's just not people from Antarctica that's come forward, but I've been in Africa a lot, Middle East, I've been in the UK, a long time in Australia, long time connections. I'm married to a Canadian. We have a lot that are coming from the islands lately, the Caribbean, the DR, Puerto Rico. All of this being said, if you are still questioning should I work with Loral and her team? Let us do a 3-year tax return review. Let's start there. Let's see what we can do. It is not going to be hinged on whether will you get the rest of the solution, but it is an interesting, it's an interesting start for those of you that know you. Here's the golden ticket. You're an employee. You've been overtaxed, guaranteed. You've had an LLC or a C Corp or an S Corp, or in Canada, a number company or partnership or limited proprietary if you're in Australia. So I'll speak in more international terms since there's more of you overseas folks. So if you're out there and you have an entity, I can almost guarantee you that unless you have a great leading tax strategist, you probably overpaid taxes. And if you really get up there in income, then you actually diversify your incomes into different countries. So there's an opinion in that. I'll leave that to the CPAs to tell you about it. I'll tell you this though, just in Ireland alone, it's a 0%, or it's 12% flat corporate tax rate, which is why the Amazons, the eBays, if you've ever flown into Dublin or any of the Ireland big cities, you wonder why the big tech firms are there. They domicile there. Why? They put it in Ireland, so they only have to pay a 12% flat corporate tax. Those of you that are U.S. citizens that are willing to live in Puerto Rico for 6 months, you have a whole different tax strategy. So again, this isn't like one thing. It's up to you. What do you want? And I have assembled teams of people. And you got to say, well, where did you come up with this idea of assembling teams? Rich Dad, Poor Dad. 1996, I met the Rich Dad, Poor Dad team. I thought the team was fabulous. I got it. I got the integration of how this team needs to work together on your behalf. And I said, well, I'm going to be the educator and tell you about all the things that nobody's telling you about. I get picked on a lot for being this transparent, but I hope you're liking it. Are you liking and sharing this out there? Give me some feedback. You loving it? And I will do more as long as you guys. Actually, the other thing I want some feedback on is what other topics do you want me to come live on YouTube and talk about? Because we'll be doing these on a regular basis for you. So we went to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 entities. We were number 8 at the corporate structure. And here's how serious I am about corporate structure and Make Your Kids Millionaires. And if you haven't gotten this book yet, go to makeyourkidsmillionaires.com, grab the book. When your kid's 18 years old, they're a legal adult. They need to have an entity. That's how serious I am. So this is Loral, and you've been listening to my podcast. If you've enjoyed this, I have a couple things you can do that are completely up to you. Number 1, take my quiz. Go to integratedwealthsystems.com and take the quiz. You will find that there's one of 4 personalities, financial personalities we call them, that you're going to fall into. So as you take the quiz, it'll actually go through and identify, are you in stagnant cash flow, right? Are you overpaying taxes? Do you have debt issues? Are you a lifestyle junkie? Where are you? And then from there, it goes to a video that actually gives you some solutions on how to correct that problem. So again, go to integratedwealthsystems.com, take my quiz, and we'll go from there.
Thanks for listening to the Real Money Talks podcast. Your host has been Loral Langemeier, author of 5 New York Times bestsellers, money expert on Dr. Phil, CNN, CNBC, The Street TV, Fox News, and The View. Want to learn more about off-Wall Street investing, tax strategies, and multi-million-dollar business strategies? Visit liveoutloud.com/podcast for past episodes, show notes, and resources. For some special wealth-building gifts only for Loral's podcast listeners, visit liveoutloud.com/podcast gifts. Do you have a burning question for Loral? Visit askloral.com to submit your question, and it may just be covered on a podcast episode. So stay tuned and be sure to subscribe to get new episodes every week.